When we think of Antifa, we generally imagine scenes like this. Democrat-run cities like Portland have allowed Antifa to unleash chaos and disorder in their streets for years. But then when we think of Antifa in the great deep red state of Texas, we see this.
FBI Director Kash Patel posted today on X that it is now the first time that the FBI has arrested someone that the agency has identified as Antifa-aligned anarchist, violent extremists, and terrorism charges now as a result have been brought. So that takes us to the indictment itself. Cameron Arnold and Zachary Evans both stand accused of providing material support to terrorists, as well as the attempted murder of officers and also employees of the U.S. and discharging a firearm during a crime of violence.
We have just witnessed a first, the first ever Antifa thugs to face federal terrorism charges, and it all happened in the great state of Texas. But this isn't just another arrest story. This is the blueprint for how red states are systematically dismantling radical networks through the power of law and order. By the end of this video, you understand exactly why Texas succeeded where other states failed and what this means for the future of MAGA and American governance across the nation. They said it would never happen. They called Antifa just an idea. In fact, most recently, the borderline illiterate Jimmy Kimmel told his rapidly dwindling audience that there's no such thing as Antifa. Or think of a recent MSNBC panelist who said, "We're all Antifa." If you're against fascism and Antifa is anti-fascist, well then we're all by definition Antifa. But just days ago, everything changed. Two people, Cameron Arnold and Zachary Evans, became the first ever alleged Antifa members in U.S. history to face federal terrorism charges. And it happened in Texas. So if you remember back on July the 4th on the Prairieland ICE facility in Alvarado, Texas, a coordinated cell of over a dozen individuals dressed in black military-style clothing and bulletproof vests launched what FBI Director Kash Patel called a planned attack to murder police officers and ICE officials. Now, these weren't random protesters. Court documents reveal they conducted reconnaissance, they exchanged facility maps showing security camera locations, and they coordinated logistics through group chats. One member even said they'd be bringing a wagon to hold armor and rifles. They used fireworks as a tactical distraction while spray painting traitor and ice pig on vehicles. But when a police officer arrived, the real violence began. One of the attackers shot him in the neck from a concealed position in nearby woods. Now, by God's grace, he survived. But now, at least two of those perpetrators have been charged as domestic terrorists. Attorney General Pam Bondi's official statement read, quote, "As President Trump has made clear, Antifa is a left-wing terrorist organization, and they will be prosecuted as such." But here's what makes this truly historic. FBI Director Kash Patel revealed that over 20 arrests have been made tied to this Texas case and related Antifa networks. So this isn't just about a single incident here. This is about dismantling an entire operational structure that prosecutors now legally define as a militant enterprise made up of networks of individuals and small groups. What's so key here is that under President Trump, the legal framework has fundamentally shifted. Whereas previous administrations treated these incidents as isolated criminal acts, federal prosecutors are now applying terrorism statutes, the same legal tools used against foreign terrorist networks. But all of this raises the question, why is this happening in red states like Texas and not, well, at least not yet, in blue states like Oregon or Illinois? Why are we seeing this kind of symbiotic relationship between red state governance, like we're seeing in Texas, and federal law enforcement, and not seeing that in blue states like Oregon and Illinois? Well, that is exactly what we're about to find out. But, let's be honest. While Texas and the Trump administration are fighting to defend political freedom, most Americans are still strapped in a different kind of cage, an economic one. And you know exactly what I mean. We built a system where ordinary Americans are running faster and faster just to survive, stuck in their jobs that they hate, watching inflation devour everything that they've earned, while Wall Street and Washington grow fatter off their labor. The elites thrive on control over your speech, over your movement, over your money. That's why I want to take a moment and tell you about something that changed my own perspective on financial independence. It's something that I've actually been personally learning and trying, and I think it's going to blow you away. You're going to love to learn it and try it as well. I, like you, often lie awake wondering if my savings are going to survive the next crisis, engineered by people who couldn't care less about us. It's not paranoia. It's reality. I mean, the game is rigged to keep us all dependent, scared, and broke. But there is a way out of that system. My good friend Troy Noonan, the backpack trader, has built an amazing and proven system that helps ordinary people break free from financial dependence. His students, and I'm one of them, don't just learn how to day trade and swing trade. They learn how to trade successfully and literally from anywhere and everywhere. We're talking kitchen tables, mountain cabins, even cafes in Italy. Troy has a program that will teach you how to build real financial freedom on your own terms. No employees, no bosses, no bureaucracy, just smart, independent trading strategies that actually work. Again, I've seen it firsthand. And gang, Troy is an absolutely amazing teacher. So if you're ready to stop running on the elite's mice wheel and start taking real control of your life, go to backpacktrader.com/Turley. That's backpacktrader.com/Turley right now, or just click on the link below. Again, this is an absolutely amazing opportunity to learn how to day trade from the comfort of your own couch. And Troy is the best teacher and strategist out there. In fact, Troy's hosting a special training session where he's going to walk you through his entire system step by step. It's not fluff. It's not theory. It's what real sovereignty, financial and personal, looks like. Make sure to click on that link below today. You will not regret it. Red states like Texas operate by a fundamentally different value system than blue states. We all know that, but we can't necessarily articulate it, or we don't necessarily understand the exact difference between those value systems. Conservative visions of life, like we see in Texas, are centered on a sense of cosmic order. That's very important to get. Conservative visions of life are centered on a sense of cosmic order, where they maintain clear hierarchical authority structures, where law enforcement agencies have unambiguous mandates and political backing. Now, what's so key here is that this sense of order is not tyrannical. It's not dictatorial. It's not stifling. It's actually freeing. It's the kind of order that G.K. Chesterton once said allows good things to run wild. Again, what's so key here in terms of the conservative notion of order is the particular sense of moral order in the world and in our lives. Brad Wilcox, director of the National Marriage Project at the University of Virginia, he once did a study on why conservatives are statistically happier, which is true. Conservatives are far happier than liberals, and he wanted to figure out why. And he noted that conservatives are more likely to have a sense that there's an order in their lives, and they have a commitment to order that gives people a sense of meaning and purpose, and meaning and purpose leads to happiness. Again, this is why red states have a fertility rate that's astronomically greater than blue states, right? Blue states have largely stopped having kids, whereas populations that are religious, that see the world as operating according to a divine moral order, that see family and children as sacred, they naturally are going to have a demographic advantage over populations that are inherently nihilistic, that see no inherent meaning, no purpose to life whatsoever. And so red state culture, like we're seeing in Texas, sees the government as ordained to protect and preserve good things. The state is part of this hierarchical authority structure that allows good things to run wild. This is why faith, family, and freedom all go together. You don't have one without the other in a flourishing society. So that's why when Texas Governor Greg Abbott ordered National Guard deployment ahead of a planned Antifa demonstration, he wasn't just responding to immediate threats. He was signaling that his government is committed to protecting law and order and the flourishing of the good that will be actively defended. Now, contrast this with blue state governance models. They operate by what political scientist Stephen Levitsky calls competitive authoritarianism. That's the key term here for blue states, competitive authoritarianism. So in cities like Portland or Chicago, in states like Oregon and Illinois, you have bureaucrats who have been ideologically captured. So they're no longer interested in constitutional governance. They're not interested in enforcing constitutional law. They're rather interested in enforcing their own far-left ideology. But not everyone enforces it the same way. It's an ideology that's been completely divorced from any sense of cosmic order that's grounded constitutionally. So it ends up producing all kinds of incoherent and overlapping jurisdictions. In other words, it's a governing mess. So you get a mayor's office who wants to give preferential treatment for certain groups. At the same time, you get defund the police movements that embed themselves in the bureaucracy. And at the same time, you get Soros-backed prosecutors who apply a two-tier justice system. And what all that does is it creates enforcement gaps that decentralized networks like Antifa can exploit. So Texas is succeeding precisely because it fulfills the fundamental requirement of a functional government. It understands good, it understands evil, and then it employs constitutional norms to protect the good and punish the evil. It's really that simple in many respects. Whereas authorities in Portland and Chicago, gang, they don't even know what a woman is, let alone the difference between good and evil. And they're a bureaucratic mess, with everyone ideologically captured and then implementing and enforcing that ideology in their own ad hoc way. Since they're no longer guided by constitutional governance, but rather by ideological authoritarianism. And so blue states and blue cities become sociological and cultural nightmares. But then circling back to Texas and their cooperation with federal law authorities, all of this is just the beginning. The FBI investigation is now turning over every single stone to completely dismantle Antifa root and branch. We're looking at the complete and total disruption of the entire network, both the street-level actors on the one hand and the financial infrastructure, the logistics coordination, and the ideological recruitment systems on the other. It's the same approach that dismantled, traditional organized crime families or terrorist cells, now applied to decentralized political violence networks. The question now isn't whether other red states will follow Texas's model. It's how quickly they can implement it. Because as we've just seen, when the rule of law is applied with precision and determination and cooperation, even those organizations who supposedly don't exist suddenly find themselves very much subject to the consequences of their actions. So what do you guys think? Are red states like Texas going to lead an awakening of national renewal of faith, family, and freedom? Let us know in the comments section below. And don't forget to click that link below and start taking real control of your life by learning how to day trade. It's amazing stuff. Go to backpacktrader.com/Turley. I've been trying out, and I think you guys are going to love it.